you can try stuff. You can try the walking tripod. You can try, I light on fire, I turn into a fisherman, or all these like crazy things that we know we can do with generative AI tools like Snapchat filters, whatever. 9 times out of 10, that will give me an incredible starting point. Like there was a minute, basically. It was just a blip in the universe where LinkedIn went bananas crazy for vertical videos.
Let's get going introducing our speaker today. And our speaker today is a man called Chris. Chris is very, very lovely. Chris is a human that I've admired for over 10 years, ranging right back to my first job as a marketing manager in a conferencing company. There's a whole backstory. Chris produces some of the best videos in B2B on the internet. He is an incredible video marketer. He's an incredible marketer. He's an incredible bloke. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun today exploring video for social media and how AI is intersecting as part of that. Before we get going with today's session, I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors. And this week's featured sponsor is a company called Frontify. Now, Frontify do waste to that big problem that sits on so many brands where they're like, I want my brand assets in one place and I want the whole team to use them. Frontify bring everything together in one space in a really lovely way to make that problem go away forever. So do check out Frontify, and like the QR code on screen, they've got some fabulous resources too. Finally, a big thank you to our other sponsors, each of whom we feature on rotation. So we have Wistia, we have Cambridge Marketing College, we have Planable, we have Known, and we have Frontify. We speak about each of these in more depth as we go throughout the duration of our season. Let's welcome our guest today, who's Chris. So mate, thank you so much for spending the time with us. Really, really appreciate you.
Yeah, Joe. Hey.
Not at all. Dude, let's get started. So today we're speaking about social video specifically and how that intersects with AI. And
Yep.
so I think it's good if we do some table stakes, and I'm going to look down in the duration of the session because I just had my questions up on my screen and they just disappeared. So I've got them on my phone now, which is a bit rubbish.
Love to have a backup. That's like good on you. You know you've been doing these for a long time when you have a backup. That is solid.
That was all what going on while the introduction was going on.
You nailed it, dude. You nailed it.
Appreciate you. So, Chris, what makes social video distinct from other types of videos? Because, like, when we speak about video, we're never speaking about just one thing. So, for social media specifically, what's the table stakes here in knowing what we want to do for social?
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, first off, thank you very much for having me on the webinar. This rules. I'm pumped about it today.
So,
Yeah, but social right now, especially through the lens of a marketing lens, the shelf life is so short.
mhm,
Obviously, it's a trite thing to say, but it's worth reminding. Like everyone has extremely small attention spans. Your whole goal of doing anything on social, it seems like, would be to stop the scroll. So
yeah,
like control thumbs in the feed. So for right now, you know, social video and the intersection of AI, what's interesting is you have to try to keep up with what the algorithms and what the platforms are actually prioritizing. Like there was
mm,
a minute, basically. It was just a blip in the universe where LinkedIn went bananas crazy for vertical videos. And if you had vertical videos on LinkedIn, you would show up in people's feeds.
mhm,
And so if you didn't keep track of that and you didn't know that you had to prep your content, your video content on LinkedIn for vertical, you would have missed out on that.
mhm,
So we happened to catch on to that, and we saw extreme success with Chris Savage, the CEO of Wistia's LinkedIn. And so my team was kind of scrambling to take content that we didn't know needed to be vertical for LinkedIn because we thought it all was horizontal and now adapt it. And this is where AI
mhm,
comes in because there are a bunch of tools that will be able to prep assets for different aspect ratios and not just like crop them, but I'm talking like runway, being able to extend the frame that was never even shot in a camera.
that's
So
wild.
all that is to say, and I'm jumping into the weeds on some of like how we execute on some of this stuff. Social stuff, short shelf life, tough to keep up with the algorithm. You need to like be built your production team or your creative team or whatever you're doing for social video needs to be built for speed and experimentation and volume. And these are all the things that AI can actually help a ton with, really.
Love that so much. And I'm also hearing, I might, if I might add a fourth word, which is in the spirit of what you've been speaking about, but reactivity almost, you know. And so when you're speaking about that LinkedIn example, you know, like, you know, just being available to do it right there is mad, but also like so interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking to that. Already we've got Chantel in the chat asking about the tool that you asked about, you recommended there with the aspect ratio. Was that Runway that you spoke about?
Yeah, so Runway is an generative tool.
Hmm.
We've used it a ton for bringing a still image to life. There are
Hmm.
since even better models, but the Runway Expand feature is incredible. So it'll take a square video or it'll take a horizontal 16 by 9 video. And if you change the aspect ratio to say 9 by 16 to be vertical, it will
Hmm.
literally guess what's above and below the frame. So in this case, it would probably end this shelf that's on top of me, and you would see a desk and then possibly my feet. And
That's wild.
the model's getting better, but like maybe like 6 months ago, it
Mhm.
2 out of the 4 generations would put me in like high heels or like because it didn't these bloopers that it would come up with, it was hallucinations. It was actually really hilarious. A lot of the stuff was great. But yeah, Runway is one of those tools, and Wistia also in our built-in to our editor. Not trying to, it's a shameless promotion, but literally this is one of the tools I use. We have an easy way to change aspect ratios from square to vertical to horizontal, or depending on whatever your source material are.
Love that so much. And it's funny you mention your background because we've already got folks picking up on your CRT TV in the background here.
Oh
And,
yeah.
and
This was my childhood television.
that's
Like
wild.
I put
I
some
know.
miles on this thing and it still works too. But yeah, the camera cart, you knew you were having a really good day when that thing wheeled into your classroom.
100%, 100%. I love that so much. You've already started to speak to some of it, and I really appreciate you for it because like I think the community always appreciate specific tactical tips and direction on how to do things. So thank you for that. But the next obvious thing, if we're setting up the table stakes of social video specifically being about speed, reactivity, experimentation, and all these things that we've discussed so far, where are you seeing AI specifically having the biggest impact on social media video creation? So, I mean, there's lots and lots of ways we can use it, but I'm interested in like the best use cases that you're experiencing so far.
So I'm I'm lucky that I work as a part of a creative team. So we
Mhm.
have not unlimited resources, but I'm trying to be cognizant of the fact that I have multiple video producers on
Yeah.
our team at Wistia. We have an animator. We have built up a creative powerhouse. We still
Mhm.
can't keep up with demand, but
No.
we try.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm going to tailor my response, assuming that you don't have a team of
Hmm.
people
Love
at your
that.
disposal.
That'd be
Um,
perfect.
I think a huge part of making social video in 2025, here we are almost in October 2025, would be being able to repurpose existing content like
Nice.
this webinar,
Yeah.
which I
Totally.
know that you do. But like being able to find certain tools like CapCut, like Veed, like Wistia, like Descript. There are lots of tools out there that's like the tool du jour, basically. But being able to use artificial intelligence to understand what the video is, usually by looking at the transcript. That's basically the only way AI can really understand what your video is. And then picking out shorter clips that might be interesting to clip out. And so some of those platforms will just take that clip
Hmm.
and clip that out. Other
Hmm.
platforms might take the beginning and a couple pieces in the middle and then tie it in a bow at the end and
Yeah.
put that as a clip. That's pretty awesome. There's
Hmm.
also some tech that's starting to happen, which will take the thought. Let's say you have a 10-minute clip of a webinar recording.
Yeah.
It will put that into an LLM, take the 10 minutes, re-script the whole thing,
Mhm.
train the speaker's voice and synthesize that speaker's voice, and then condense the 10 minutes of information into 1 minute of net new script. Like there are things like this stuff is happening at lightning speed. So
Mhm.
to answer your question, I think it's all about examining what you have, putting it through the finding the right tool, experimenting with some of the right tools to then repurpose what you already have. Like you have it, you might as well use it. And
Totally.
webinars, live streams, just the perfect spot to start experimenting with atomizing content, in my opinion.
Love that so much. And so 2 weeks ago, we had Ross Simmons. I don't know if you know him, come and speak
Yeah. Yeah,
to
he
the
spoke at
community.
Wistia Fest. Yeah.
He's amazing. Love him so much. And it's one of his catchphrases, which is what create once, distribute forever. And you know, it exactly speaks to that spirit. Um, I'm curious though, because this is actually something, this is a problem, you know, and I will use the word problem that we encounter at the marketing meetup, which is that we have these hour-long pieces of content. We seek to redistribute them in different ways through our clips, etc. Um, but it feels like there's quite a special skill in matching what might be a peak moment in the transcript of conversation to something which gives that context. And you know, you need the context and then you need the peak moment in combination to be able to deliver a clip which makes sense and has the potential to go about things. And the only thing that we've been able to find is a person to do that. Um, and so I'm interested in sort of following up to your answer there and sort of saying like, is there moments within that process of repurposing and finding those sort of atomized pieces of content where you are looping in humans still, despite that being one of the biggest impact moments you're finding with AI and social?
So this is where it's interesting. I love that you brought this up because sometimes you just need a good old-fashioned human to get the
Yeah,
job done. So
totally.
I'm assuming you're referring to maybe ask you just a clarifying question. Are you
Yeah.
kind of having that human set up the context? So you missed something like last week's webinar was incredible. You missed
Yeah.
some really big moments from Chris Levine from Wistia.
Yeah.
Here's the rapid fire like recap, and then phew, it cuts to a package. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
I wish it was that sophisticated. I think even just picking out some of the peak moments, you know, if you know, Chris said, you know, what you need to do is have a team that is able to work fast and responsively, etc. In that fastness and responsiveness, they would mix the context at the beginning, which is our bit of the discussion where we're speaking about what a team needs or something like
Mm.
that. And so without that context, a video will appear on someone's social feeds and they're like, what the hell's this? You know, like, you know, it's just a bit of whatever. And is that the caption or is that something that we need to use AI to create? I don't know. We might be
Yeah.
going too deep in the weeds. I don't know.
No, let's get in the weeds. This is where the good stuff happens. So, some of the stuff that we've done at Wistia, and I take a ton of inspiration creatively and for even the content generation piece from television,
Hmm.
from movies, from 90s television. I'm an
Nice.
80s kid, so like that stuff was so formative.
Yeah.
One thing that we did for our State of Video webinar, which we do every year, is we kind of created a little previously on State of Video Live. So you
Nice.
have like a little bumper, and this is
Hmm.
something that I stole from, network television. Basically, you
Hmm.
watch the local news. Next up on the local news, like they have these like little mini trailers to kind of grab your attention. So
Yeah.
like broadcast has been doing this for years, and
Hmm.
that's kind
Hmm.
of what we're doing a little bit too. But there are other ways that people are doing this. So that's one example, just pulling from like nostalgia or pulling
Hmm.
from broadcast.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live does this as well. Another thing that we've been experimenting with that I've seen more of is trying to be scroll stopping.
Hmm.
So there are, a tool du jour of being able to use, this is a little bit of like a bait and switch, but it could work is to like uh, generate something that so take a start frame of me in this position. If I have this
Hmm.
start frame and I can generate the camera like coming to life on a tripod and it starts walking around. So like you can have a visual hook that could be AI generated. It also
Mm,
doesn't have to be. It could just be
mhm,
a manual analog
mhm.
hook. But if you have
Yeah,
some type of a hook that you can start the video off with, that could also be text on screen too. If you have a really interesting prompt that like off the top of my head, you know, we see it in YouTube thumbnails with the text on screen. What are you going to actually connect with? You won't
totally,
believe this tool that I just found. Some of this
totally.
stuff is like a little ick, but it's
Mhm,
ripe for experimentation, I think, on social because this is a little bit tangential, but you can try stuff. You can try the walking tripod. You can try, I light on fire, I turn into a fisherman, or all these like
mhm,
crazy things that we know we can do with generative AI tools like Snapchat filters, whatever. You can try it on social because it's just a flash in the pan. If it works, awesome. If it
mhm.
doesn't, people are going to forget about it for the most part.
Yeah,
The speed and the time to like move on to the next thing,
yeah,
it's like lightning fast. So
yeah.
if you're not experimenting with some of this stuff, and you have to also know your brand and see how far you can push it. Like if you're, a funeral home,
Yep.
a little
Yeah.
morbid for a Tuesday morning, but I wouldn't be experimenting with some of this stuff. But if you're a B2B brand, like
Mhm.
people get it. You're in business, you're trying to stand out. You can be experimenting with some of this stuff. I apologize, that was very rambly, but there's just so much stuff that we can be thinking about right now.
Totally. And I love it. And I love one of my greatest pleasures in life is just watching people who are passionate about stuff as well. And so, thank you for the to speaking to all of it. And I I think an important point amongst everything you said there that struck me is that there will be a lot of folks, and I think this has always been something with video in particular, is confidence, and this idea that like one needs to be confident to speak to camera, or just confident to experiment with these things. And so actually, one of the things I wanted to say thank you for in your answer there was encouraging us to sort of remember that this is a flash in the pan for some people. Every video posted is not going to be where your career is going to be hung off for the rest of life, and so to have the permission almost to experiment is important. And I want to follow up on your encouragement there to experiment because that feels important for the community watching in today. So if you were to start from day zero today in experimenting with social video, um, and it may be day zero, it may be a day 1000, and you're able to look back on with hindsight, where would you be starting experimenting for someone who hasn't necessarily done this before?
That's a hard-hitting question.
Mm. I'm
Um,
all about the hard hitting questions. That's
Oof,
kind
getting hot in here. Oh my goodness. I need a fan or something. Um, yeah, where would I start? I mean, this is gonna, I'm kind of, I don't have a good prepped answer for this. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna caveat this with take this one with a grain of salt.
That's fine. Grain of
I
salt
am
received.
not, I'm not an expert on social media. I don't even
Mhm.
have Instagram. I haven't been on Facebook in years. I'm on LinkedIn is my platform that I
Mhm.
choose to use and choose to experiment with. So with that said, if I had to start, I would you have to kind of depend. It depends a little bit. Are you B2B? Are you B2C?
Mhm.
And choosing what platform you start with,
Yeah.
they're all different. They all value different things. On Twitter, you need to post something about the same thing, for probably 100 posts,
Yeah.
and then the algorithm will finally know what you're talking about.
Nice.
Um, LinkedIn, if it seems like the algorithm is changing constantly on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
especially as I was referring to
Mhm.
previously. If you make a video and it has a lot of engagement in the thread, you're going to get
Yeah.
rewarded significantly, not necessarily because of how long you watch that video, but because of the engagement in the thread.
Mhm. Mhm.
YouTube is all about getting you to the end of the video.
Yeah.
So like you need different storytelling tactics with engagement loops, with a hook, with the right thumbnail and description, and you need to shock people at the end of the video that the video's over. Like you can't on a YouTube video if you say, well, thanks so much for watching this video. Like everyone's already gone, but you didn't make it to the end of the video because you have this whole tail end, and so the
Mhm.
algorithm's going to ding you for that. So all this is to say, if I was starting from day zero, I would try to pick a platform
Mhm.
where I know my audience is and where
Mhm.
I think I have something to add,
Yep.
and be consistent with it. That's the only way you're going to grow a YouTube channel. That's the only way you're going to grow a Twitter following. Um, yeah, and with a lot of LLMs, you can get a good starting point. But if you just copy and paste out of ChatGPT a post, people are going to know. Like people are starting to catch on when something is just AI generated. So it still needs to be uniquely human and uniquely you.
Love that.
Um,
Well, and so we've got Sarah in the chat here, who's our Queen Bee, head of community, and Sarah's going to be taking some of the takeaways from today's session and pop them into Hive, our online platform. And so right now, Chris, we have an exercise for folks, which is picking your platform and choosing to double down in that space and be consistent with it, and understanding the nuance. I think one of the most important things you could point out there is, and actually I take this as a wider strategic point, is that it was curious that you answered there didn't point to any sort of like tools or anything like that. You took it a level above and you started thinking about the strategy and the outcome and the nuance of the platforms before even mentioning stuff like the tools. And it feels like that's an important point as part of all this conversation, because we can speak about tools and we will. But what we don't want to do is, sort of make the tools the be all end all of the conversation. And so I love that your brain went to that place first, because we can get into the weeds on the tools as we go throughout the duration of this session.
yeah, 100%.
Also, um, just a quick shout out to a couple of great questions in the Q&A already. I'm going to ask one of them now, but folks, if you have any questions as we go through today's session, then please ask them in the Q&A, because I'll prioritize them there. So in the spirit of following up on that previous question, there's a question that's coming from an anonymous attendee who says, what are some of the most useful AI tools a small B2B business can use for generating video to repurpose content? I'm going to remove the repurposing content specifically, because I'd just love to know about some of the tools that you find yourself using day to day, or your team as well.
Love this tool. Love this question, rather. I'm already thinking about tools. So in terms of scripting, ideation, um, LLM du jour, whatever one you like. I go between Grok and ChatGPT. I have a lot of folks on my team using Claude as well, but let's just assume ChatGPT is almost like Kleenex at this point. Like it's not a facial tissue, it's just, or Xerox. Um, so I'm using ChatGPT constantly, and shameless plug to my LinkedIn. I'm also sharing a lot of my workflows on LinkedIn, and also trying to impress my boss, Chris Savage, the CEO. So I'll screen share a new workflow and see if I can impress him. And we've been posting some of those, but yeah, it's you have to have a little bit of prompt engineering mind right now to really get something super good, super close out of the LLMs. But one way that I'm doing this, for example, is I'm taking a script that I like. That's say I need to make a new video, a new product video for a new product that Wisty is working on. Fortunately, I have a bunch of old videos that I've made that are human scripted,
Mhm.
but you can do this with just another video that you found that you like. Copy the transcript, paste it into ChatGPT, and if you prompt something like, "This is a video," it's about the same format, about the same length, about the same tone and vibe.
Mhm.
Now I need to make a new video, and then you
Mhm.
paste in your brief, your creative brief, whatever info you have, and usually I'll have it's on an Asana card from a product marketer, but I can also just give it, maybe 8 talking points about the product.
Nice.
And 9 times out of 10, that will give me an incredible starting point
Mhm.
for a
Mhm.
script.
Mhm.
Not good right out of the gate. we've all heard this, like you can't just, that's not ready to go, but it's a great conversation. Then you can say, this is, how long is this timing out to be? Oh, it's about
Mhm.
timing out to be 2.5 minutes. I need to get this down to a minute and a half. Okay, and then it trims it down. So once you have something workable in there, it's just a great place to, because historically before LLMs and AI, scripting would take the longest part. Once you had a
Mhm.
script, like just shooting was nothing. The script, and you have to get the sign off and the stakeholder feedback. So anyway, I could talk at length just about the scripting process and how AI has disrupted that. But
Mhm.
that's one tool.
Yeah.
LLMs, Grok, Claude, ChatGPT. Huge tool that we're using a lot is 11 Labs.
Mhm.
11 Labs is a way to synthesize voice, human voice. It's it will do text to voice. It will change a voice. You can clone a voice with very little training data. So we're using this a lot for animatics. So I don't know. ChatGPT may say that this video takes 2 minutes. It'll be 2 minutes, but I can copy the text, paste it into 11 Labs, and have it read it out without me having to, use a microphone or anything, and
Yep.
it'll pace out the video for me basically and tell me how long that is. I'm
That's
also using 11 Labs a ton to fix old videos without having to reshoot anybody. So our
interesting.
product, Wistia, is moving at lightning speed right now. The product is changing every single day, which means all of my product videos are out of date.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I can, if it was me on camera, and I always have permission from people to do this. I
Hmm.
don't just do it willy-nilly,
Yeah.
but I'm on camera a lot, so I have my own permission. I will say I need to change a word that I said from the script said, and you can do it in just 10 minutes, but now
Yeah.
it's faster. Now you can do it in 5 minutes.
Hmm.
So basically I will in 11 Labs train it on my voice,
Hmm.
and I will write the word 10 or
Yeah.
write the word 5, the new word, and then have
Hmm.
it click generate, and
Hmm.
it's shockingly good. I think it's almost crossed the uncanny valley. It's so
Wow.
good.
That's wild.
And then so 11 Labs, and I'll give you one other tool that I use because I'm really rambling, but I could talk for the rest of the time about the
Hey,
tools.
I think this is all good. Like
All right,
I'm
good.
enjoying it. We're
Let's keep
enjoying it.
going. Let's keep going. Okay. So 11 Labs, million different uses. It also will clean up bad audio too. I mean, you can do that in Wistia as well. Love 11 Labs. Um, Midjourney uh, has still cemented itself as, I think, the premier image generation tool.
Mhm.
If you can dial in your style references and your character references, the combination of raw going from 0 to 1, generating something with Midjourney, in
Mhm.
combination with the newest tool from Google called Nano Banana. These
Yep.
names are extremely crazy, but you generate something in Midjourney, take it into Nano Banana, and Nano
Mhm.
Banana is basically an incredible editor.
Mhm.
The breakthrough that happened here was now you can take one image, it's a flat image, and instantly change the camera. So if we were to train it on this image and say, show me the 180 degree of this, it would know the rough lighting, know the rough palette, and make a really good guess. Show me the aerial of this. It'll do that. So Midjourney going from 0 to 1 on an image, incredible. Nano Banana being able to change the camera angle. Now you can tell a story. Like
Mhm.
you can actually tell a story with consistent characters and the consistent world building. So in terms of if you, and granted, we're playing with this stuff at Wistia, and I'm playing with this stuff at Wistia because I'm an early adopter
Mhm.
on tech. I need to know what this tech is capable of, so that I can continue to be at the, at the try to be on top of my craft.
Yep.
All that is to say, just because you can generate this stuff
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you should be generating it, and doesn't mean that that is going to be what works for your marketing channels. Like
Totally.
in a age, in a world of AI slop, there's just Facebook just came out with this AI feed. I don't know who wants that. It's literally just all AI slop. Like now could actually be your time to stand out and be a real live human and just
Yeah.
with all of your quirks, with your ums and ahs, and the shot doesn't look perfect, and you're like people still want to know that they're doing business with other people. And so just because you can generate a beautiful looking shot with a beautiful human being that could be the spokesperson of your video, and you can do lip sync with Hey Gen and all these other tools, doesn't mean you should. It doesn't mean that that's actually going to be what is going to move the needle for your business. Chantel, with great power comes great responsibility. You can't just do it because you can. I like to quote Jurassic Park. Your scientists were so preoccupied if they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. That's my general take on generative AI.
Nice.
Woo! Thank you very
Cheers.
much. Thank you very much. I'm out of here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm here.
I mean, like it's 2:30 for us here, but I mean it's 10:30 for you, 10:35. So I mean, yeah,
9:30. This is early.
nine.
This
Oh,
I have
mate.
kids. I have young kids, so I was up early. That's why you can tell I have bags under my eyes.
You've been awake for 7 hours.
Oh yeah.
I love that, and I think it's so important. Like everything that you've spoken through there. It, it's great to know that you can, and I think that is part of the purpose of this webinar. Really, is to let people know that they can. So, for example, with Nano Banana, I ain't used it yet. I heard it last week, but it was one of those sort of innovations that came out, and I haven't jumped in yet. And so to kind of hear that experience is really, really interesting. Um, I'm interested to know with the generative elements how this slots into your filmmaking process in general. And so to give an example, I actually folks will notice that like Wistia is actually one of the new sponsors of the marketing meetup. And by the way, we never ask our speakers on the basis of them being sponsors. We ask them on the basis of them being good humans. But in order to get the attention of the folks from Wistia, I actually created a video which the marketing meetup community didn't see, but it was for two people. It was for Chris and it was for Taylor on the Wistia team. And I said, look, I've been a customer for 10 years. This was in the video. I've been a customer for 10 years and spoke to some of the highlights of Wistia's journey and how my own journey had kind of intersected with that. And in the process of making that video, I had a section which was me speaking to camera. I had a section where I stole some of your videos, Chris. And then I had a section where I put some of the videos from the marketing meetup. But there was like a 3-second snippet in the middle of it where I wanted to use it to tell a bit of a story, but I didn't have a bit of video that was appropriate for it. And so it was in that moment I went to Google and generated a video, which was someone with a megaphone speaking about Wistia from a mountaintop, which was, it was perfect for that moment. I'm interested in your own experiences though, like when we're speaking about great power comes with great responsibility, et cetera, like where are you actually generating clips and moments in your videos that you're sort of actually using day to day? Because I guess the majority of times it won't be fully generated AI videos. It will be a combination of the both. So I'm interested to know when you have, but more importantly, like the thought process that goes into saying this will be AI and then this is going to be a human clip.
Yeah, great question. I think it's worth caveating here that the we've all heard this before, worth saying again, this is as bad as the tech will ever be.
Yeah.
And we have not crossed the uncanny valley, meaning humans have been trained for thousands of years to spot an inconsistency. And we know when we can call BS on something. We know when something doesn't feel right. We know when something isn't real. And it's not just, having too many fingers, these early generations or the Will Smith eating spaghetti. So we haven't crossed the uncanny valley yet. We will at some point. So all that is to say is you need to know where the tech's limitations are, and which is why I'm obsessed with pushing the envelope and seeing where the bar is and trying every new model, trying Higgsfield, trying Nano Banana, trying Midjourney video versus Kling versus Sea Dance versus Runway. where we found the most success with generative video, specifically generative video, is when it's playing a part in the background of the video.
Mm.
So, for example, I don't know, can I share my screen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Might as well. Let's do a quick workshop here.
Love
Uh,
it.
so sharing. So new front page video that we made. I mean, here it is.
You look stressed.
I just, oh, am I sharing with, let me share. Yeah, I'm sharing for video. Perfect.
Yeah, yeah, you're doing great.
Um, all right. So this is all real, all real. It's actually right behind me. This is kind of my set. This smoke was real.
Mhm,
This was coming out of a fat fog machine. These are all real in-camera effects. Okay. So
mhm.
now this is After Effects. We're doing this by hand,
Wow.
but here we go. See this?
Uh-huh.
This is Saruchi on our engineering team. That
Mhm.
is not a video of her. That's just an image that we brought to life.
Wow.
That
Okay.
is not, that's AI. Okay. This is Sam Balter.
Mhm,
That is not him talking. That's just an image of him, a photo of him that we brought to life. This is Terrence. These are all people on our team. That's Lizzie.
mhm,
They never were, this was just a still photography. We did a bunch of still photography for our marketing materials. And so this is like like you would never even know that this, now you probably can tell, but
mhm,
when you're watching this video for the first time and you're trying to figure out what Wistia is, you're not even thinking about that stuff.
mhm. Totally.
So that's one example. Another example of how we're using it is for uh, I'll do it for like set design.
Mhm.
So I'm lucky enough to have this pre-built set here. These are all real things. It's not AI. You can go touch this camera. See? Real. Okay. You can knock the TV. That's real. Okay.
Yeah.
But if there have been times, especially when I'm at home, or if I'm in a place where I don't have a lot of props,
Mhm,
where I can just shoot me and then extend the scene with generative fill in Photoshop. So
mhm,
sometimes I would I could, like these photo frames back here, I could just generative fill those in Photoshop, and then you take the video of you, and then you just overlay a PNG, and now you have a beautiful set design that you didn't actually that doesn't exist. So these
Nice.
are like
Okay.
these are kind of the real world applications. They're not super sexy, honestly,
No.
and
No.
they still require the human touch.
Yeah.
Um, you can make something that's fully AI generated and it's going to be just contributing to the AI slop that's out there.
Mhm,
And we
mhm.
definitely did try that too. We made a whole campaign called Create Complete Control, which was
Uh-huh.
kind of, some people didn't actually get the joke. I think we were so early on the joke that
Mhm.
some people just accused of us making AI slop, but we're like, that's the point. That's the joke.
Yeah.
So, um, but I think that's where you can start possibly doing some more harm than good to the brand. But it's like the little things that can really elevate your production quality without having to spend thousands of dollars on set design and props and stuff like that.
Love that. I love that so much. And I think as a guiding principle and appreciating it comes with every caveat that we've spoken about. Like a general idea that intersecting both, but if there's AI elements you can bring into the background to bring richness to your videos and stuff like that, that's a fantastic starting place as well for folks to sort of feel a little bit more comfortable and not feel like it's high stakes just on AI video, etc. It's still you, but intersected with these things.
Yep. Yep.
I think you blew the collective minds of the community, in watching that tool. We've had a few folks, because I think they may have missed. You're just saying which tool brought those photographs to life for the videos. So which one was it that you used in that particular video?
I believe that model was, I believe that was Runway,
Okay.
but honestly, we have access to a couple different models,
Hmm.
and different models excel with different
Yeah.
source material.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
Midjourney is more of an artsy fartsy artistic platform that will really excel at something like, say, animation or dreamlike stuff. Kling is seems to be really good with uh, special effects. VO3, that actually may have been VO3. VO3 is probably the one of the best. VO3 and C-Dance are the best at animating humans or bringing humans to life. Um, but again, it's like experimentation is the name of the game. I could tell you a tool, and the source material that you have may not actually, the model may not like that for
Yeah.
now.
Well,
For now. Bring me back next year and let's figure out what tools are the best at that point.
Chris, you can come back next year. Absolutely. Um, I love that. And maybe what we should do in Hive in this case is capture the list and just sort of say, look, go and play. And sort of use this as an opportunity. So thank you for speaking to the various tools, but also the message is there loud and clear that it's about experimentation. So
Yep.
thank you, dude. Um,
Yep.
let's first of all say that we've got a bunch of open questions in the Q&A presently. I've still got some that I'd love to ask, but I don't want anyone in today's session coming off the back of the webinar today and sort of going, he didn't ask that question, or I came for this and I didn't get this. So folks, this is your opportunity as we head into the last 15 minutes to sort of say the Q&A feature is open for you right now. If there is an unmet question in your mind right now, drop it in the Q&A for us, and we'll make sure that we try and get through as many of the questions, or at least categories of questions that we have in for you today. Can we speak about something a little bit more, I don't want to say philosophical, but I think it's an interesting question from Sarah that's come in. So Sarah says, I can definitely see the benefits of using AI to create videos of people talking. However, I work for in Sarah's case, a hospice charity, and I'm struggling to see how that would fit in with our marketing due to the fact of what we try to put out is trying to gain the public's trust, so they will support us through donating and volunteering, etc. And Sarah just finishes the question by saying, "Help, please." So I'd love your opinion on trust and how we sort of bring this into the conversation around AI and video, and also social media and video as well, because we all know these can be manipulative places at best sometimes. And so, how do you start to think about these issues?
Great question.
Hmm.
Definitely something that I've thought a lot about.
Hmm.
I don't know how spicy to get on this take here, but
Well, just wherever you're comfortable. And I think the important thing for anyone watching in is always to know that it's individual opinions expressed rather than anything else. We're in
that's a
a
great, yeah, that's a good thing to keep in mind. I'm seeing a lot of tool workflows down, like comment in the thread to get this workflow where you can mass produce custom videos using an AI avatar of a human saying, "Hey, Joe Glover, I
Mm,
heard you were looking at," so like it's you're looking at my software, you're looking at my service. Check
yeah.
this video out. And it's a
Mm,
it's a fake AI avatar, and it looks kind of real, but not really. You're getting catfished. Like
mm,
it's a bait and switch. You're putting a human face to deliver a message because that person wants to create a connection with somebody, and it's literally it's having the opposite effect. It's like, why would you even try to pull that? You're trying to pull a fast one on me.
mm,
So when we talk about generative video and we talk about bringing things to life, um, there's never been a better time, in my opinion, especially in that hospice world where you're trying to find the right care for a loved one. There's never been a better time to be authentically human, to be real human. Like everyone, there's no excuse for you not to be human on camera anymore. Everyone has an incredible camera in their pocket on their phone. Right now, this is my iPhone. That's my webcam. It looks pretty good. There's no excuse anymore. And even because of what happened during COVID, the bar for quality is even lower now because everyone's so used to seeing people on Zoom or FaceTime, whatever. So there was a time where people would be really critical of video quality. That time is not now. People can
Mm.
smell out when humans know when something is not real. So to answer your question, yeah, I don't think that you should be using generative video as your front and center um, source material.
Mhm.
Can you use it to clean up a frame or make something look a little better? I think so, but that's also up to you too. Can you use it to sweeten your audio
Mhm.
and make your audio sound better than it was recorded? Yeah, I think so. It's still authentically you. You're just delivering your message a little bit cleaner. Can you use AI to put burned in captions so it makes it more accessible and like people on social can see it better? Yeah, I think you can. So I think it's AI is kind of taking a back seat there, but in a lot of industries and a lot of video types, you're still gonna want to be human and front and center. And that's actually what we're doing a lot at Wistia too. Like, yeah, we're bringing people to life on our front page video, but we still have Elise from marketing as our hero to try to make somebody connect with a real live human that's behind the scenes at Wistia.
Love that, mate. Thank you for speaking to that because, like, I think it's a great answer, and um, it strikes me that one could misconceive the intention of sessions like this sometimes, where one is seen as purely proponents of AI in all of its forms and stuff like that. And I don't think any of us are that. You know, it's important to explore these things and to know about these things because then you can use them or not use them in your context for the folks you're trying to help. But you know, we've got Sarah here who asked the original question, just sort of saying thank you so much. What a great answer! And
Awesome.
yeah, you smashed it. So thank you very much, mate. I don't even think it was that spicy. So if there's another
I
version,
reeled it in. I do have a spicy take. Well, I have to sit on it, but yeah, I've been starting to get a little spicier on LinkedIn about AI
That's all good.
avatars.
That's all good. I love that. In fact, while we come into the last 10 minutes, I'm gonna pop this QR code up on screen so the community can find you on LinkedIn and
Sweet, thanks.
say nice things. So we're entering the last 9 minutes, Chris, and the community's been brilliant at asking some questions when I asked a few minutes ago. So we might make this a bit of a quick fire round if that's okay with you.
Perfect.
So I'm not going to ask the first question because I think that can be the first question was what kind of budget do you predict SMEs need to be allocating for AI tools? Um, my general feeling is that that could be how long is a piece of string to a certain extent. But like, I don't know, do you have any advance or different opinions on that? Because it could be a little, it could be a lot, but I'm not sure without the
One,
context.
yeah, there are lots. It's a tough one because there are
Mhm.
lots of like free pick, FREEPIK,
Mhm.
bundles a lot of services together. Higgsfield does as well. So you can get bundles, but I think to bring it up one level, I'm lucky that the leaders at Wistia have given everybody on our team an allocated budget to experiment with AI tools because we think that AI is that impactful across the business. This is people in HR, engineers, marketing folks. So everyone has a budget to spend on AI platform and AI tools.
Mhm.
So thinking that way
Nice.
might help answer some of that questions, but some of those questions, I forget off the top of our head what that budget is. It's, you know, these things change so frequently. Some of them are token based, some of them are unlimited, but the name of the game is experiment.
Love it.
Experiment with some of the best models.
That's wicked. Thank you. So you have spoken about. So the next question is revisiting the tools question, and it comes from Piotr, who spoke to one part of the creation process I don't think we covered, which is around cutting, editing, normalizing video-based content. Um, asking if there's any tool recommendations for that part of the process further on than the sort of creation process itself.
Yep. You'll find a lot. It depends on your level of expertise. If you have
Hmm.
zero expertise, find a text-based editor.
Okay.
Like Wistia has a text-based editor, Descript. Um, those are the two. Descript has where you can basically edit, and Wistia has this too, where you can basically edit like a text document. Then you're
Hmm.
left with a bunch of jump cuts, so you still have to kind of figure out how to finalize over that. But so if you do have more ability, um, I everything still happens in Premiere for me,
Right.
but I
Okay.
am using other tools like 11 Labs or Adobe Podcast Enhance or Wistia to sweeten audio. Um,
Nice.
yeah, CapCut is another one to look into. Um, and captions, it just rebranded as something. These things are happening so fast. So I would say CapCut, Descript, Wistia, still good old fashioned Premiere and Final Cut. If you have some technical prowess and you want to really dial stuff in terms of video editors.
Love that so much, and I'm laughing because I'm a I'm the more rudimentary editor. James, my co-founder, was a videographer in a previous life, and so I've been trying to decouple him from Premiere for a while, but I think it'll be over his dead body, and so it's so,
I
so
I agree with I agree with you, James. I agree.
um, we didn't plant this question, and I don't even know if you know because it's not necessarily your job within Wistia, Chris. But the question that's gravitated to the top of the Q&A for me is, what subscription level to Wistia do you need to create the person video AI with speech? We would like to use this internally as an education learning perspective. So actually, instead of marketing, to save hours of time. So that's a really lovely use case, actually, that's sort of come in. So do you know at all?
Agreed. And we do not have a generative tool at this
Mhm.
time. We have a
Cool.
text-based editor. We
Mhm.
have a bunch of ways to repurpose your content to make social clips, change aspect ratio, but we do not have a talking head generator
Mhm.
or a video generator at this time. So I would look into Synthesia or HeyGen for either of those two things. But yeah, the training materials. That's why I don't want to get too spicy on the AI avatar thing because there
Mhm.
is a time and a place for it. It's just
Mm.
not in like cold outreach. Don't
Yeah,
do it for cold
totally.
outreach. Don't do it.
Love that, mate. Thank you. Okay, we're still in quick fire, so I feel like I'm peppering you a little bit here, Chris. Taking away or adding to your energy for the rest of the day. But we've got a question here that comes in from anonymous attendee who says, "Do you have B2B social video ideas that aren't necessarily to do with webinars in this case? Do you have ideas on how to get across product information while making it engaging in video format for social media?" So I think this is like any quick tips that you've experienced, in your own experimentations that you're currently ruminating on the social media front with the videos that you're creating.
Yeah, I would experiment with the container of the video. For
Mm.
example, one way that we're experimenting was to shoot a product update video
Mhm.
from the backup camera of my car. So my friend Steve, who I make videos with, but it could be anybody,
Mhm.
they were shooting on their phone the screen of my Jeep,
Yeah.
and then I was in the back with a microphone,
Mhm.
and I went right up to the camera and started like delivering my line. So that's kind of like a scroll stopping moment. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then so that's like a container that it's still a human, and then it just gives me an excuse to talk about whatever I want to talk about. But
Mhm.
knowing that it's going to be on social, knowing that it needs to be scroll stopping, yeah, weird is good for certain brands. If your brand can handle that. Again, hospice thing, might not be the appropriate, creative avenue there.
For sure.
But yeah, just experiment with the container of your message in the video. It doesn't have to just be a talking head.
Love that. Love that so much. Yeah, we'll get James and Sarah, both of whom are on uh, on the marketing meetup team, who are just saying weird is good. So, and embodying that for themselves. Dude, I'm going to close it there, not because we couldn't go on. There's 10 open questions. I've got a list of 1,000, but like I think we've juiced your brain for 59 minutes at this point. So like, if you can speak for the rest of the day, I'll be impressed. So I just want to say a huge thank you to you. Huge thank you to you, and a huge thank you to the community for tuning in and being phenomenal as you always are. The questions hopefully that came in answered your queries as you joined today's session. But mate, Chris, you absolutely smashed it with all your recommendations and opportunities for folks to start experimenting as well. So
yeah, thanks, Joe.
A hero. So really appreciate it. Just a quick last few shout outs. First of all, to say Chris is found here. So if you want to find him on LinkedIn, then please do say hello. Our speakers always comment that the Marketing Meetup community is particularly great at saying thank you, and I really appreciate that. And I think that's a really great cultural value that we all hold. So thank you all so much, and likewise for everyone popping in the chat as well. Like, you're absolutely wicked and so appreciated. Also, I just want to say a quick thank you to our featured sponsor. This week's featured sponsor is Frontify, a fabulous DAM platform, wonderful people too. And also the rest of our sponsors. We've got Wistia, who Chris has been representing totally well today. Cambridge Marketing College, Planable, Known, and Frontify. All absolutely wonderful. If you want to hang out afterwards, join us in Hive. There are some questions that we've captured that we haven't answered, so that will be an opportunity to chat about those things afterwards. And with all that said, a phenomenal session that is made great by you, Chris, by the community. So thank you all so much for being here. Lots of
Thanks, Joe.
Cheers, dude. And we'll see you all soon. Cheers.